Today marks a pivotal moment in American politics as the newly elected Congress heads to Washington, D.C. However, before these lawmakers can officially begin their work, they face a significant hurdle: electing a new Speaker of the House. This process is set to highlight the deep divisions and internal chaos plaguing the Republican Party, and more notably, it promises to be another test of former President Donald Trump's influence within the GOP. Over the past several weeks, we have already witnessed multiple instances of Republicans openly rebuking Trump. Just a few weeks ago, during the budget showdown, Trump pushed House Republicans to follow his directives. He demanded that they shut down the government entirely and refused to negotiate until January 20th, 2025. Elon Musk even chimed in, echoing Trump's call for a government shutdown. Yet, Republicans ultimately rejected this approach. Instead, they reached a budget agreement that avoided a shutdown and ignored Trump's suggestion to eliminate the debt ceiling entirely. These actions marked the first significant rejection of Trump's influence in recent weeks. Fast forward to this week, and Trump attempted once again to assert his authority, this time in the Speaker of the House race. On Monday, Trump took to Truth Social to endorse Mike Johnson, calling him a good, hard-working, religious man and urging Republicans to support him. Trump framed Johnson as the best candidate to lead the House, emphasizing the need for party unity and urging members not to squander what he described as a great opportunity. Despite this strong endorsement, cracks in Trump's influence quickly began to emerge. Rather than falling in line with Trump's endorsement, multiple Republicans immediately voiced their opposition to Mike Johnson's candidacy. Representative Thomas Massie, for example, openly mocked Trump's endorsement, comparing it to Trump's failed support for former Speaker Paul Ryan. Massie's comments highlighted skepticism about Trump's ability to pick effective leaders and signaled that the endorsement alone would not be enough to secure Johnson's victory. This resistance is not limited to Thomas Massie. At least 5 House Republicans, including Victoria Spartz, have publicly expressed doubts or outright opposition to Johnson's speakership bid. Given that Republicans can only afford to lose a single vote to maintain a majority, this level of dissent poses a serious challenge to Johnson's chances. What's likely to unfold over the next few days is a repeat of the drama we saw when Kevin McCarthy fought for the speakership 2 years ago. Johnson will probably fail to secure enough votes in the initial rounds, leading to a prolonged process. Over the weekend, negotiations and backroom deals will likely dominate the conversation, with Johnson scrambling to make concessions in exchange for votes. This dynamic mirrors McCarthy's struggle to win over hardliners within his party. During his bid for Speaker, McCarthy had to agree to several demands from Matt Gaetz and other far-right members, including a rule allowing any single member to force a vote to remove the Speaker. That rule ultimately came back to haunt McCarthy, contributing to his downfall. Johnson now faces a similar predicament. To secure the Speaker's gavel, he'll need to promise influential committee positions, policy changes, and possibly even alterations to House rules. These concessions may keep his opponents temporarily satisfied, but they could also weaken his authority and make his position precarious from day one. What's striking about this process is the apparent erosion of Trump's grip on the Republican Party. Trump continues to act as though he controls the GOP, issuing endorsements that he expects to be followed without question. Yet, in recent weeks, we've seen mounting evidence that this influence is waning. First, Republicans ignored his calls to shut down the government and eliminate the debt ceiling. Now, they're resisting his push to install Mike Johnson as Speaker. This shift raises important questions about Trump's future role in the party. While he still commands loyalty from a significant portion of the GOP base, his inability to enforce discipline among House Republicans suggests that his influence may not be as absolute as he believes. This development could have far-reaching implications as we approach the 2024 election cycle. At the same time, the dysfunction within the Republican Party underscores broader concerns about governance. With such a narrow majority in the House, even minor disagreements have the potential to derail legislative progress. The speaker's race exemplifies this fragility, revealing a party struggling to unify around a clear agenda. Looking ahead, it's almost certain that Mike Johnson will eventually become Speaker. The process, however, will likely be messy and drawn out. Expect multiple rounds of voting and a weekend filled with intense negotiations. Johnson will need to offer substantial concessions to win over skeptics, mirroring McCarthy's path to the speakership. But even if Johnson secures the position, the challenges won't end there. The concessions he makes could leave him vulnerable to the same fate that befell McCarthy, especially if the far-right faction of the party continues to wield outsized influence. This internal discord raises doubts about the GOP's ability to govern effectively, particularly as they prepare for contentious battles over spending, immigration, and other key issues. In the broader context, the speaker's race serves as a microcosm of the current state of the Republican Party. It highlights not only the ongoing power struggle between Trump loyalists and establishment conservatives, but also the party's broader identity crisis. As Trump attempts to reassert control, Republicans are increasingly willing to chart their own course, even at the risk of defying their former leader. For Trump, these developments represent a significant challenge. His endorsements no longer carry the same weight they once did, and his ability to dictate party strategy appears to be diminishing. While he remains a dominant figure in GOP politics, his recent setbacks suggest that his influence may be more fragile than it seems. Ultimately, the outcome of the speaker's race will offer important insights into the future of the Republican Party and Trump's role within it. Will Johnson's eventual victory come at the cost of substantial concessions that undermine his authority? Will Trump's weakened influence embolden other Republicans to break ranks? These questions will shape the political landscape in the months and years to come. For now, all eyes are on Capitol Hill as Republicans navigate yet another high-stakes showdown. With the margin for error razor-thin, every vote and every concession will be scrutinized. Whether Johnson emerges as Speaker or the GOP descends further into chaos, one thing is clear: the Republican Party's internal struggles are far from over.